You are listening to the Model Train Talk podcast. Each episode, RJ and I discuss various topics about the world's greatest hobby, model trains. The purpose of this podcast is to help promote, inspire, and bring a breath of fresh air to the hobby. Recording the podcast makes it possible to share stories of others and to help grow the model train community. Thank you for listening to the Model Train Talk podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Model Train Talk podcast. It has been a really long time. RJ and I have been living very busy lives, but we are back today to share with you some new information from both of us. So, RJ, how you doing today? It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it really has been. I think it's probably been at least a month since we recorded our last podcast. And like Sam said, both of us have been extremely busy lately. I know for me personally, I've been working 20, 25 hours a week on top of my normal schoolwork. So I have no free days. And as I'm sure Sam will talk about, he's been really busy too, but it feels great to be back and recording a podcast. We're getting to the holiday season. School is starting to wind down just a little bit. And so hopefully we'll be able to make a lot of great new podcasts over our holiday breaks.
Yes, the holiday season is a great time to really dive into the trains. I feel like personally for me, just because my schedule winds down a little bit with swimming, and I am a first year in college, so I'm trying to balance all of this. I haven't had really much time on my hands at all, but it is really good to be back and talking trains. So let's go ahead and leave where we left off last podcast. I think you talked about the 4501, the Southern one, and you discussed the other engine that you had Sid work on. Has there been like any new trains that you have picked up or?
So I've probably gotten a lot of new freight cars. And what I'm planning on doing is doing this grand unboxing video on my channel. Depending on what, it's probably going to be uploaded after Thanksgiving. So be on the lookout for that. But there has been one engine that I've been teasing on my Instagram, my YouTube channel, which I just haven't shown off yet. I've had it for 2.5 months. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, you know what engine it is. But you could probably guess what engine it is. But I wanted to show off for the Model Train Talk podcast audience first my brand new engine. And it is my MTH Rail King CSX number 911 painted up for the first responders scheme. And so I actually saw this locomotive. I went with my buddy Joe up to the B&L Railroad Museum on September 12th. They were doing a first responders day. They had some guys there giving presentations, and CSX brought up number 911 for the festivities. And it's a real great locomotive, Proto-Sound 3. And I was actually scared. I didn't pre-order this. And as you guys can imagine, MTH is starting to die down their production numbers from the last 2 catalogs. So once something comes in and it's going to be a popular locomotive, it's going to sell. And so I could only find one hobby store that had this left in stock, Mr. Muffin's Trains. So I picked it up as soon as I could. And then I sent a link over to Stephen Colferl because he also came down and met me at the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum. So he picked up one of these for his layout. And it's a real beautiful model. The only things that are missing are some charity logos that belong right there, and MTH just didn't want to pay for the licensing fees for that, which is all right with me. That doesn't really bother me. I'm more in it for the paint scheme, and it's going to be hard to tell, but right there is a 343, which represents the number of New York City firemen who died on 9/11. So that's why I went with this one over the NS one on top of seeing it in person. I really appreciate the 343 on the side, and on the back here there's another 9/11 memorial. It says New York on the top, Washington DC, and Somerset County, Pennsylvania, where 93 went down. But it's a beautiful model. I haven't ran it yet, so I can't tell you what I think of the sounds of the horn or any of that stuff.
Right, yeah.
But it's a real beauty. And what's kind of a shame is I'll just put this down real quick before I drop it. is that it seems like CSX is going to get rid of these units. So for those of you who may not know, CSX has three special units painted up like that. One for veterans, it's 1776. One for first responders, which is 911, which I just showed you in O scale. And another one I believe is 3916, 3816, which is for policemen. And news came out last week when we're recording this, so around early November, that they painted over the police one and it's back into a normal CSX paint scheme. The official reason why they painted it up is because when these locomotives were first unveiled, the plan is for these to enter, normal revenue service like the Norfolk Southern Heritage units. But number 911 hit a tree, like in its first couple of weeks of service. And so after that, CSX pulled all three of the units and put them into storage at their facilities in Waycross, Georgia. And ever since then, they've been in storage, and the only one to leave storage was 911 to go up to the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum on September 12th. And so I don't know what the future holds for 1776 and 911, but I was really glad now that I got the opportunity to see 911 up at the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum, because it may never make a public appearance again. And now I have a model of it to commemorate it. And I have about a 10-car firefighter first responders train to go behind it now as well. So that'll be on my channel at some near future. But I just wanted to show off the locomotive first here for all the Model Train Talk podcast listeners. And Sam, you've also picked up some new trains lately.
It has been a while. It's been a couple months. I believe I might have shared it on my Instagram page a while back. But if you haven't seen it or haven't heard, because I haven't shared it with YouTube because I haven't been home in enough time to film and edit a video about them. And I really want to go in depth with these two engines because personally for me, they have been on my wish list for a while. So back in, I would say probably August, Sydney's Trains posted a picture of the Santa Fe NW2 switcher. It's the number 62201, the one with the bell inside of it. I had interest in that one before because I think personally for me, the ringing bell inside of it, I've heard a lot of stories where people would take those out. So it's kind of hard to find one with the ringing bell inside of it. So I thought that was kind of a cool little backstory. So I kind of wanted to have a switcher with that bell inside of it. And so Sydney had picked it up from his local hobby store, I believe, fixed it up, was trying to get rid of it and sell it. And so I had some interest in it. I reached out to him. I was like, hey, you still have that engine? He's like, yeah, I got it. I was like, I'm in college, I'm kind of just flirting with the idea of getting it, picking it up. And then he also was trying to get rid of and sell the 2243 Santa Fe AB unit. I think it was made around 1955, 57. And I had, like, ever since I started collecting trains, I think the Santa Fe F units are very popular. And me being a post-war guy, that's what I lean towards a lot. And so I wanted that one as well. And I said, how much are you charging for the Santa Fe F unit?
And then Sid made you an offer that you can't refuse.
Yeah, he was like, I'll just throw in both. Here's what you need to pay, and I'll give you both of these engines. And I was like, that's an offer I can't refuse. I know that he's fixed them up well, and they're not going to have any problems. So I bought those probably late September, I want to say. I think I got them late September. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to run them at first. But yeah, I was very excited about them. I was really stoked about the Santa Fe F units. They looked really good. I was super excited to get them on the track. Went home that next weekend, actually, and I decided to run them. They both ran great. They both look beautiful on the layout, and I'm really excited to run them during Christmas time. I think it'll be a really nice touch. And I now have two NW2 switchers So I'm hoping to collect more of those because I don't know, those little engines are really nice to run around the layout. They're very reliable. I feel like I haven't had any problems with them. They're easy to maintain and fix, like all post-war units. So yeah, that's all I've gotten so far. I'm hoping to pick up maybe a couple things during Christmas time. But yeah, that's about all I've got so far.
I mean, I've talked about this before on other podcasts, but it's the post-war Santa Fe F3s that made me fall in love with the hobby in the first place through I Love Toy
Right.
Train.
Yeah.
Um,
It's beautiful. It's a
and
beautiful
so,
engine.
and so you're also talking about the N2s, NW2s, and I think it's pretty crazy. Like the Santa Fe post-war Santa Fe F3s with the silver trucks, those would be like number one on my post-war list, and then number two would be the Seaboard NW2 switcher. Just and one day I'll pick those up. But speaking of Santa Fe F3s, yesterday I picked up a MTH Protosound 2 Santa Fe F3 and just the A unit. And you guys might be thinking, why would
Why
you
just
want
the A
that?
unit?
Why just
Yeah.
so the first set that I ever had, first O scale set I ever had, was an MTH Protosound 2 Santa Fe Super Chief set. And so foolish me, when I was 12 or so years old, I saw a YouTube video, and the guy would weather his trains just using black spray paint. And I thought, wow, that seems like a great idea.
That is something 12-year-old RJ could definitely pull off and have the same result.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking back on it, it didn't even look that good back then. But anyways, on the guy's video. Anyways, I thought, well, let me take the Santa Fe Super Chief, F3 unit.
Basically the holy grail of model trains. Would you or like
Yeah,
the
even like,
MVP of
yeah, or just like
model trains?
even just the like the pinnacle of streamlined diesel locomotives that the
Right,
Santa
right,
Fe always kept in top, clean, pristine shape because it was their flagship
right.
locomotive. And let me put black spray paint on it to weather it up.
That'll look beautiful.
And
You'll change the world, RJ, with that. You're
and
going
then
levels here.
that's when I found out about the whole Protosound 2 versus Protosound 3 and the batteries and so on, whatever. Oh, so after 12-year-old RJ, let's take apart the locomotive and install a 9-volt battery in it so this way it works properly. Well,
Right,
RJ didn't know how to take apart said locomotive, and so now it's
right.
currently sitting in pieces with a shell covered in black spray paint in just literal pieces. So I went ahead, and 20-year-old RJ owned up to his $200 mistake and bought a replacement A unit to go with the set. So I have my first train set back, and I'm
Right.
really
Yeah.
excited for it. I've never showed it off on my channel before because the locomotives has been in pieces. So I never had a reason to pull out streamlined Santa Fe passenger cars before because I
Right.
don't have anything else Santa Fe. So I'm really excited to get it back and run my first train set again.
Like the Santa Fe post-war unit has always been on the back burner because I know my grandfather had a similar set to that. It's just such an iconic piece. I think every train collector like wishes they had, or they have.
Add
I
one.
think it's very, very legendary, and I'm honored to have it. And I appreciate Sid reaching out and giving me a good deal. Super excited to run it more when I get home. I will definitely be doing a video on that engine and talking about every single aspect of that engine because
That,
it is just something special. I don't know what it is, but it
that
just
would
hits
make
home.
that would make a good Sam's Trains historical model train set.
Miniseries.
Yeah, mini series episode just because of the history behind the Santa Fe F units and just the role that they played in Lionel history.
It could be a pretty good documentary, mini documentary, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that'll be a fun one to film. So RJ, do you have any videos that you're working on, or any ideas that you want to do once you get off break and go home for a
So
couple months?
so I filmed about 30 videos in August before coming to school. I've mentioned this many times, and I'm
I
sure
remember
all you
you
guys know
telling
this,
me that
but
over the summer, like, yeah, I'm on video 15 right now. I got 15, 15 more to
yeah,
go.
yeah, and it was just insane. Anyways, so I shorted myself a week in videos. I miscalculated. And so in the next upcoming week, I think uh, it'll be out before this podcast comes out. But plan on doing a live stream celebrating 1,000 subscribers, and then I have a rail
Congratulations, by
fitting
the way.
video. Thank you. A lot of hard work.
Definitely.
But
I've seen the backstage.
yeah,
Um,
Sam knows. I would film like
yeah.
3 videos in a day in August.
I was like, what are you doing? I haven't even done half of one.
Yeah, it is insane, but definitely worth it in the end. And now I get a little bit of money that will help pay for future collection expansion and videos and video production quality. So I have 2 rail fading videos that I filmed that I just need to edit, which those will probably be out by the time this podcast comes out. But when I get home, I have a huge unboxing video, which I alluded to earlier. It'll probably upwards of at least 30 minutes long. That's how much I have to unbox and show off. And that's just unboxing. That's not even going to be like showing stuff running around the layout. As a friend of mine reached out that he has some stuff that he was looking to let go of. And he also gifted some to me, just being a really good friend. And I'm extremely grateful for it. So I have a lot of that stuff that I have to unbox. And so that'll be its own video. And then, I'll have videos running the H16-44 after its TMCC upgrade.
That'll be
The
nice. That'll
Lionel
be cool to
Southern,
see.
yeah, the Lionel Southern 4501, and some cars that were given to me to go with it. So those two, CSX 911 review. Probably going to do a separate CSX 911 first responders train running session. I have some more Long Island Railroad videos that I want to O-scale Long Island Railroad videos to film. I should be getting my MTH Long Island RS1 in sometime in the near future, probably first week of December. I should get it. So that'll be a video, a review, and run session. I sound so crazy right now. Anyways, I also picked up an MTH DCS system. So I plan on doing a full video explaining how to set it up, because there are a lot of videos on YouTube that will tell you how to operate an MTH DCS system, but there aren't a lot out there, if any at all, that tell you how to set it up. And even though it's an obsolete system at this point, I still want to set that up. And so there is that resource on YouTube for people learning how to set up the MTH DCS system.
Right. Can I add a point real
Yeah.
quick about the video with the MTH DCS system? We had talked with Jason like a couple podcasts ago about, buying trains when they come out, and he alluded to the point that a lot of these trains aren't going to disappear. They're going to eventually show up on the second market, and I think that's the
Yeah.
same way with these systems too. So even if you have that video still out, it'll still prove helpful to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked before, like if you
I,
get a video out there and somebody watches it, you've kind of done your job. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm. And the MTH GCS, like they're still gonna make TIUs, they're still gonna make WIUs. Like they just came out with the new TWIU, which is the WIU and the TIU into one. So the system's not going to be going away, but unless somebody were to purchase MTH and continue producing proto-sound models, then which I'm very hopeful that it does happen, and I think it will eventually, but it's yet to be seen. But as of right now, that's not really the plan. We know that DCS will live on, but not the engines. So, but regardless, that video is still going to be going up. But I have 2 months to film another 4 months worth of videos. which I got tired thinking about just there. But I also plan on doing a video. I'm meeting up with Matt and Blake from our last podcast. We're gonna do Lionel National Train Day or National Lionel Train Day, December 7th at Nassau Hobby Center in Freeport, New York. So
Which
we'll
we
film
did visit with Greg on the podcast a long time ago. So
Yes.
it'll be cool for you, I guess, for you to go and visit that because you haven't visited yet, correct?
Yeah, the club. So and then it'll probably be a second video, and it looks like the Nassau Lionel Operating Engineers Club out in Levittown, New York. I'm going to be going there and filming a video with Matt and Blake and maybe Greg as well. So and do like an in-depth tour behind their layout and get some cool camera angles while they do their open house. So that'll be another video. Jeez, I got a lot of editing ahead of me. I still have a job and school, but we'll make it work. I'm super excited to get back to layout and running trains because I haven't been able to do that since the end of August. So I'm itching.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely, you definitely noticed it. Especially for me, like I was I was going through my Instagram the other day, like my train Instagram, and I was like, I haven't posted in like such a long time, like a
Yeah.
couple months. I was like, I don't have anything to post. So it's just been crazy, especially with everything going on in the world. But I'm definitely excited to get back and film some stuff for the layouts and my personal channel. I'm sure you are as well. And I just wanted to take a minute to thank the viewers of the Model Train Talk podcast. Thank you for taking your time to listen to us today. We're just trying to get together and talk some trains today because it's been a long time.
Yeah, it really has.
It's crazy how time flies. I mean, I still feel like it's like September, but it's almost the end. Like we're almost halfway through November. Actually, we probably are. What is
2020.
today?
Today's the
Day of
14th.
recording, 14th. So pretty close.
Little, yeah, close to halfway.
It
Before
is
you know it,
close,
2020 will be over. The year
which is
from
crazy
hell.
to think about. Another
Wow.
year.
Got to get you out to New York once all this calms down.
Yeah, definitely. I will definitely be doing a tour of the Northeast. I'll be visiting you, Steven, Sid, and Matt and Blake and all those guys. So that'll be fun. But as of now, that's hard to pull off.
All right, everyone. So thank you very much for watching another episode and listening to another episode of the Model Train Talk podcast. If you enjoyed, please give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and it's greatly appreciated. It helps us get the podcast out to more people. But with that, take care, everybody, and stay safe.